I think we're constantly always wanting more, and we don't stop for a second and say, hey, look how far I've come. Hey, I'm proud of myself. Hey, I made it. Welcome back to another episode of Robbie Rants, the podcast. The podcast we never knew we needed. I'm your host, Robbie Rants. Thank you guys for joining me on another episode of Robbie Rants, the podcast. Today, I want to talk about being proud of yourself. I know you heard the intro a little bit. You can kind of guess where I'm going with that, but we really don't take time to say, wow, look how far I've come. We live in such an instant gratification world where it's like, all right, we've achieved this. Oh, it doesn't matter. Let's go on to find something else. Oh, we gotta do this. Our lifespan is flying by and we have to keep going. We have to keep going. We have to keep going. Right? But do you for a second ever stop to think, wow, look how far I've come? The truth is, yeah, sometimes we think about it, but have you thought about it lately? Have you thought about how far you've come lately? Are you proud of yourself lately? I think it's so important to ask these questions as we grow through life and as we continue to blossom and become the people who we're supposed to be. But we always are left wanting more. We are always wanting more. This episode is to really encourage you to take a second and really be grateful for where you are now. I say that to say because, you know, if you follow my journey, you know I've just moved in January to a new apartment. And it was such a difference for me being in my last apartment for 6 years and now moving, right? And I started over. Those of you who saw the journey, I came with like 3 laundry bags. And I found myself today looking around at where I'm at, right? And where it's April, I moved in January. And piece by piece, I am getting things together here. And I'm looking around, I'm like, wow. And then I caught myself saying, I can't wait until I'm finished, right? But we never appreciate the steps that it takes to build. We want it right away, we want it now, but you're not appreciating where you are. Really quick, this just came to me. I feel like God speaks through me a lot. And the more I'm growing, honestly, it's become less scary, but in the beginning, it's like, what? You want me to say what? Okay. So this just hit me as I'm recording this episode. So God allows us blessings and gives us access to things, right? But sometimes we aren't ready. So the thing that you could be praying for, waiting for, wishing for, your next level, I think if you take a second to stop and realize where you're at and appreciate that, you'll be able to flow into your next blessing with ease. And I say that to say don't sit there and go through every childhood trauma every time, y'all, because that's not it. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. That's going to cause you pain. But think about the things that you've accomplished, the times that you felt like you weren't going to make it. Yes, this might bring up your childhood trauma, but think about, like, wow. There were so many times that I could sit here and say on this podcast that I could have gave up. I almost gave up. There were so many times that I just didn't want to record a YouTube video. There were so many times I didn't want to edit. There were so many times I just didn't feel like it. Or life happened, right? Or like depression, anxiety, things of that nature. But I'm super proud of where I am right now in this moment in my bed recording this podcast for you guys on a Sunday. Taking time to be proud of yourself is really important to me. And as I'm doing this episode, it's more important to me because I've realized the more that we need to. How many times have we been through something and we just get through it? Like, my survivors out there, those who've been in survival mode before, you know it's literally just a constant go, 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 hop, jump, skip, go, go, go. And yes, there are some times to pause, but usually that's our time to rest. We never usually rest and reflect, right? So take some time, take a second, reflect on some of the things that you've been through, even through this past couple of months. 2022 seems to be flying, right? I know one of my favorite things to say, this podcast, as much as it's for me as it is for you. So I hope that by now you're starting to think about some things that you're proud of. What accomplishments that just you kind of brush by because you were moving on to the next project or topic or content, right? We don't take the time to pause. With that being said, I thought it was really fitting that this episode be called Stop and Be Proud of Yourself. Truth is, we're always looking for that stamp of validation. We're always looking for that approval, whether it be from family members, friends. We're always looking for someone else to be proud of us. I remember when I first started doing YouTube videos, I'm like, hey everybody, I've had no purpose and no passion for most of my life, and now here it is, here I am. What are you waiting for? Hello? How could you not be proud of me? Right? And it kind of almost gets frustrating when we don't have that stamp, that approval, right? But you don't need that stamp, that approval. Just to take it even a step further, and I want to challenge you guys with this. So let's say, right, the validation that we're looking for, and I say we because I've been there too. I'm not perfect. So what we're looking for, that approval that someone gives us, does it make our work any less credible? Does it make our content any less good? Does it make the words that we're saying any less true, right? Because someone agrees with us or someone sees us. Take a second. Now that you've taken that second, I hope you realize, no, it doesn't. All that matters is that you are proud of you. You're doing things with joy. You are doing things from a good place. And that's what matters. We take so much time and energy into wanting someone else to jump on the bandwagon with us. And I think that's a lot of the world's problem. And that's why a lot of people don't get started on doing the things that they really want to do in life. Because we're like, oh, I don't know. They're not going to like it. You like it. The fact that you have, one, taking time to initiate something, to write it down, plan, it's like you have so much to already be proud for the steps that you didn't even realize you took. Okay, my people who started businesses, okay, I see y'all thriving on the gram. I see all the reels. I see the content. Are you proud of yourself? Because I'm proud of you. But honestly, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. And I say that to hopefully inspire you. It doesn't mean anything. Are you proud of yourself? And if you're not, how can you be? What do you want to see from whatever project, passion that you're working on? You see, we only have one life to live, y'all. And that's why I started this podcast, because I was like, I have so much more to say besides these YouTube videos, and I know y'all gonna feel me. With that being said, do what makes you happy, but be proud of yourselves. Don't skip out on the step. Don't shortchange your worth. Pat yourself on the back for everything that you've been through. Okay, Mr. Softy's making his debut on the podcast, y'all. Welcome. We have a feature. Okay, the temperature is hopefully rising. Mr. Softy is here. You don't know how many times I have heard people say, like, I want to start this, I want to start that. And their reason for not starting was because of someone else, or because of what they thought someone else would think. And I've almost let that cripple me, right? With merchandise and dropping this podcast, who is going to listen to me? I listen. Shit. I play back and I listen and I learn from myself. And I think that's the best part, and which makes me so proud about this podcast is I'm not doing it for anyone else. I'm literally doing it for me. And that's something to be proud of. And I hope in closing that this inspires you somehow to continue to count your steps. Don't get lost on the destination, but get lost in the journey towards the destination. Because you're going to get there regardless, especially those who are hardworking, consistent. You're going places. So you don't even have to worry about that anymore. Be present and be proud of your steps. So stop and be proud of who you are. And I'll see you in the next episode.